Hey friends, it's Lauren Gaines. Welcome to Fully Immersed. Let's dive in. Okay, friends, here's my confession. I struggle with keeping an organized home, and I'm probably not the best person to be making this video, but this is a huge part of creating the atmosphere of our home. And so I'm going to be honest with you, and we're going to work on this together. We are going to figure out what are some of these barriers that keep us from having a home that is organized, because let's be honest, we can have God's presence. We can have it look like a Pottery Barn catalog, but if we lose our minds when we're trying to look for our keys, what are we doing? We're just adding more tension and strife into the home atmosphere. I'm Lauren. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm a Christian author and speaker, and I love helping women find their purpose and walk this life out in victory. I recently had a book that was due at the library, overdue. We were about to be charged, and we searched high and low. We were looking under the couch, in the cushions, in the basement. We couldn't find it. And then one day I was folding laundry in my room, and my daughter was playing, and she went like under the bed. We have these bins, and she pulled them out to see what was in there. And she's like, "Mom, here's the book." I'm like, seriously? Why was the book hiding under the bed? So I don't know. Have you ever been there where you just lost something and it added chaos and stress to your life? So we are going to jump in right today, and we are going to be in this together because I understand how difficult it is to keep an organized home, especially when you have little kids. And it's like, I'm trying my best. But within 10 minutes, every dress up thing is out and all over the floor. There's Legos spilled everywhere. There's snack wrappers, and we can lose our minds and be upset and yell. And then that just creates this endless cycle of mess, yell, and nothing ever gets better. So we're going to look at 7 barriers that are keeping us from having a organized, calm home. And we're going to talk about how to get over them. So the first barrier is our phone distracting us. How often are we reaching for our phones and kind of mindlessly scrolling? I think I could be preaching to the choir here, but it has to be said because we are addicted to our phones. We are constantly checking our email. We're let me just check the weather. And then pretty soon we've been scrolling for 15 or 20 minutes. What if we put our phone away and we had dedicated time where it's like, okay, we are going to do a 10-minute cleanup, and we're going to set the timer, and we're going to put all of the phones and distractions away. And even if a text goes off during that time, we're not going to look. We're going to say, focus. How much more would we be getting done in our daily life? So again, I'm not saying we can never use our phones. I think that they are a tool, but it has to have its place. And we have to be honest that it could be limiting us from finding time to organize that drawer that like barely shuts and has all that junk in it, or that closet, because we'd rather scroll than do the task. And we need to take a good look and admit if that's a problem, because the first step to change is admitting it's a problem. Am I right? Okay, and number 2, and I hope like some of these are going to be hard to hear, but we can't lie to ourselves anymore. I think our generation just doesn't know what hard work is. And we have so many good things that have made our life easier and faster and better, but that's made us kind of addicted to that ease, right? Like we want it to be fast. And if it takes longer than 10 minutes, or if we have to use some elbow grease, or it takes a little determination and effort, we're like, I don't want to do it. I think we need to face this and admit the problem, and then we can work better at solving it. By the way, would you hit that like button so that everyone who needs to watch this video will? Are you seeing yourself in any of these yet so far? Are you seeing that like, yes, sometimes it's just easier for me to choose comfort. That is number 3. We idolize comfort and entertainment. We want to be comfortable. We want to be entertained. We want to be excited. We want our mind to be stimulated. And what are we doing to get that? We're reaching for our phone instead of going out in the garden and getting our hands dirty, instead of having a thrill of organizing the pantry. Like my aunt is so good at this and she finds it so thrilling to be able to organize things and have a system for it. And I think some people probably are just more naturally driven to do that. But I think sometimes we just don't even want to go there. We don't even want to put in the effort. It's easier to just choose the easy thing and to not do something that may stretch us a little bit. So, number one, our phones distract us. Number two, we don't want to put in the hard work. And number three, we idolize comfort in entertainment. Number four, we don't ask for help, especially with from our kids, or some of us work full-time jobs. Both I've seen families where the husband works full-time and the wife works full-time, and they have the capability or the money, the income to hire someone to come into their home to clean, maybe not every week, but once a month or every 2 weeks, and they don't want to do it. They're like, "You know what? No, I can just do it. I can just add that to my plate and like I can take care of it." It is okay to ask for help. It is okay to ask your children to help you, to pause what they're doing and to give them a chore. We don't have to do all of this by ourselves. We can ask our spouse, we can ask our kids, we can ask family members. When I was writing my book, my aunt came and helped me go through closets and go through my pantry because, again, she loved it. And it was something that filled her with joy. But I asked her for help and it was great because we got to work on it together and she got to use her strengths in my home. So we can't be afraid to ask for help when it comes to organization. If it's not something that thrills us or that we just really, really struggle with, we need to humble ourselves, ask for help, and ask other people what systems work for them. This is a really simple thing. But one of my friends was telling me how her kids empty the dishwasher in the morning. And I was like, why am I not having my kids do that? And I know it's only maybe a 5-minute task, but it's so nice for them while I'm maybe straightening up something like, hey, go empty the dishwasher. And it takes them about a minute and it's done. It's one less thing for me to do. And now it's become a routine. And they know they each have like someone has the bottom rack, the top rack, and then the silverware. They know their spot and they just go in the groove and they do it. And it's teaching them a life skill and it's taking one thing off my plate. So, moms, we can't be afraid to give a task to someone else, and they may not do it to our standard. And so, when that happens, we need to either take the time to teach them to pause, right? To stop scrolling our phone and to teach them how to wipe the table to our standard, how to wipe the mirror to get the smudge marks off to our standard, how to vacuum so that they're not missing a whole bunch of crumbs. Some of that may just feel like, well, they should know, but they may need some direct instruction, and we need to be able to pause and to give them that. Or we need to be okay with it not being perfect. Okay, and number five, this one's kind of hard to explain, but I think often we have so many tabs open in our brain. And when we go look at a room or look at that closet that's overflowing or that junk drawer that's just like chaotic, it's easier to push it away and to not start the task because we just would rather avoid it. It feels too overwhelming. Like, how? I don't even know where to start. I don't know what to do. The hardest part is always starting with any task. This comes with organizing, cleaning, exercise. Hitting that start button, getting going is so difficult, but we need to have that self control, have that endurance, have that perseverance to be like, no, you know what? I'm going to tackle this today. I'm going to do it and I'm going to get in there and go. And things that have helped me to do this are turn on music. I don't know why music is so motivating. If I have a good song on that I feel uplifted, I'm like, okay, I can do this. And the other one is just telling myself, I know I will feel so much better once I start. I just have to start because once I start, I have that momentum to keep going. Okay, number six, we have too much stuff. I think we just also like a lot of these are things that we just have to admit. And it's going to be difficult to admit. And we maybe want to lie to ourselves and tell ourselves that, like, no, that's not me. But we are a consumer nation. We consume way too many things. And we go on Pinterest and we go on Instagram, and someone shares a really cute sweater or a really cute throw blanket and we're like, I need that. But really, do we? I think before we hit buy now, we need to pause and be like, do I really need this? Is this what I really want? Because how many of us have bought things that we thought maybe we would like, or someone else shared it and we're like, well, it looks good there. But then we get it and we have no use for it. And then it just sits and then it adds clutter and stuff. Because again, the more stuff you have and the clutter that's around is just going to add mental clutter and clutter to your heart. And we don't want to allow that to trigger us and then cause us to have anxiety or irritation and frustration with ourselves or with our kids or our families. So we need to take an honest look at our stuff. And do we need this stuff? Is it stuff that we really need? Or is it just stuff that we kind of want? And it's okay to pause before you buy and think about it for a day or two. And if you're still like, yes, I really need that, then you can buy it. But I found the more I take in, and this is even true with family or friends. Sorry, people who are listening and giving me stuff, but I sometimes have a hard time saying no when someone's like, hey, do you want this? And you're like, well, it's free and that looks nice. And like, sure, maybe I could use that one day. Don't say yes. Unless you're sure that you're really gonna use it. Cause it's just the more you bring into your home, the more you're gonna have a system or have organization with it. So say no right away. Don't bring it in. Okay, and number 7, the last barrier is that we are just too busy. Our schedules are so full, and I think I'm gonna do a whole episode on this because I have started my mentoring ministry and I would love to work with you. My heart is to help women know their purpose, to walk that out in boldness, and to know that they hear God's call on their life and respond to that. And I've started that. So the link will be in the description below. But as I'm talking to these new women that I'm going to be mentoring, there's been a theme this last few weeks, and it is that we are so busy and we don't have balance and we say yes to way too many things. And what has happened to rest? And I have to be honest with you. Again, these 7 things have been things that I have struggled with personally. But this rest thing, I have to have a constant inventory of this because we stopped gymnastics. My oldest daughter stopped gymnastics over the summer because it got to the point where she would have to go 5 days a week for 4 hours at a time. That is 20 hours a week. That is like a part-time job for a 12-year-old, and it just felt like too much. And even though she was really good and she won states and she won regionals, we had to take a look at our life and have that heavenly perspective where we're looking up and saying, where are we investing our time? Because the things we treasure, that's where our heart is. That shows where we're spending our most time, our money. That shows what's important to us. And I'm not saying that sports or gymnastics can't be important, but when it starts to tip that scale and rules our life and we never have rest and we're constantly go, 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 do, do, do. Of course, we're coming home exhausted. And the last thing we feel like doing is dusting or vacuuming or doing that other load of laundry. And so we have to be honest about this and we have to live counterculturally because the world is on this hamster wheel of stress and sports now have become a 7 days a week thing for our kids. And I've even seen people in the church. We had something that we were participating in because my daughter quit gymnastics. So she tried a bunch of different activities. And then pretty soon it was like, our calendar is full again because we said yes to a lot of things to see what she would like and what kind of would stick and what hobbies or interests she wanted to pursue. But there was something at church and it was Sunday afternoons and it was every Sunday afternoon. And it just started to feel like a drag for our family. And I was like talking to people like, why does this have to be on a Sunday? Like, can't it be on a Saturday morning? Because Sunday should be a day of rest. And even in the church, people don't know how to rest. People don't take a Sabbath. People don't have a day where they just enjoy their family playing a game. When was the last time you've just played a board game with your family? If it's more than a month ago, I feel like that's not a good sign. We shouldn't be so busy that we can't even have conversations or meals together or take that extra minute to do a load of laundry. By the way, I would love if you would be a part of our YouTube community. If that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button and share this video with everyone who needs to hear it. Okay, so which of these 7 barriers seems to hit home the most with you? I would love to hear from you. And if you've had strategies like you've overcome one, share those in the comments below so that we can all learn from each other. And if you are a Holy Spirit filled Christian woman who is looking for community and mentorship, look in the description below because I am starting my mentoring ministry where I would love to work with you to help you find your calling and to walk that out with boldness. That is all down below. All right, I am going to end us in prayer. God, we just thank you that you are good, that you are a God of order. Lord, that you also delight in every detail of our lives. So, Lord, if there's other women out there who are like me and sometimes struggle with this and finding that balance and prioritizing the right thing, God, I pray that you would just give us wisdom. And Lord, Holy Spirit inside of us, we have self control. That is one of the fruits of the Spirit. May we use that self control to choose the right thing so we can create a space that is lovely and filled with peace and orderly and not chaotic, where we can find the things we need to find. And God, if we mess up or if there's a hard day and things kind of get out of control, may we give ourselves grace so we can go back to that place of creating peace in the home. God, we love you and praise you in Jesus' name. Okay, so friends, be sure to leave in the comments below which of these 7 barriers hits home the most for you and what's one thing that has worked for you in the past to help you keep your home organized. I love to hear from you, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening to Fully Immersed with Lauren Gaines. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to subscribe and share it with a friend who might need these words today. Until next time, stay fully immersed in his presence.